Hi everybody, it's Dr. Joanny Liu. I'm the founder of Concussion Answers, and welcome to today's broadcast. I'm talking about Lucille Ball, who is brave, funny, and inspiring. She was an amazing woman. Born back in 1911, and she died in 1989. She was 77 years old, and there was nothing to say that there was going to be anything extraordinary about her, but But the thing is that all ordinary people, and we are all ordinary, are totally capable of doing extraordinary things. That's the message that I want to send to you, among others. The thing is that she had a way of doing things. She wanted to get everything that she could out of life. And so, I've got these pictures of all the things that she said that she is quoted for saying, because obviously she lived them, she believed in them, and it wasn't just that. She believed in herself. That's the incredible thing. Believing in ourselves. It's not as hard as you think. The thing is that nothing is going to come to you unless you do believe in yourself, and then you take the steps in order to do it, okay? So one of the things that she said was, I'm not funny. What I am is brave. She said, love yourself first, and everything else falls into line. You really have to love yourself to get anything done in this world. Because let's face it, what is getting you up in the morning? You've got things to get done, right? You got things to do. Things have to be accomplished. Things have to be organized. This is the way each one of us must move forward in our lives. So the thing is that when she was a teenager going to drama school, she was actually told by her teachers that she would never amount to anything. Well, I'm going to tell you all the things that she amounted to. Okay, hi. I'm going to tell you all the things that she did amount to. Now, her teachers didn't even hesitate to actually say these things to her right to her face. So, and she wasn't very happy about them saying these things either. Well, she definitely proved them wrong, because she had a very long career. She worked almost up to her death when she was 77 years old. I remember a movie called Mame, where she played a Southern lady, and she was most gracious in that movie. And to me, that's how she was, because it never occurred to me that she did movies, but she did. She did many TV shows. The first one was I Love Lucy, way back in the 50s. And the thing is that she did it with her husband, Desi who was a Cuban. She had actually been doing a very wildly successful radio show that featured a wacky wife, housewife. And so CBS loved her so much in it that they asked her to develop a TV show out of it, and that's what she did. But the twist was that she wanted her husband, Desi to act in it opposite her as her husband. Now, CBS executives weren't very, sure about this. They were really doubtful about it, because they thought that TV audiences wouldn't grab or get hold or understand or accept the fact that she was an all-American married to a Cuban. But audiences loved it, and the show became a big hit. Now, of course, this is all showing that Lucy was a risk taker. And the fact that she managed to convince people to do the show, so she was also very persuasive. And when you believe in yourself, you are extremely persuasive, okay? So she's a woman in another male-dominated situation. Guys are usually the ones calling the shots. But, she was very unusual for her era, because she did get most of the things that she wanted. Thank you so much. I love your hearts. And it's not an accident, because she's quoted in a lot of different things, in a lot of different ways, and she even talks about being optimistic and that being a way of living. And I certainly avow by that too, because it's good for the brain. Being optimistic is extremely healthy for the brain. Because once we get all stressed out and we're pessimistic and we don't believe in a better future, we start going down the spiral because, well, it's called stress, and stress is really bad for the brain. So when we finally decide that we're going to turn our lives around, that means we've got to turn around our attitude, okay? The thing is that she became a first in many things. So in 1962, she became the first woman who was a production studio executive. She and her husband had created a production company called DesiLu Productions a few years earlier. And so it's not surprising that DesiLu was also responsible for a show called Star Trek. Do you know that one? Okay. So Star Trek was the first show to feature a multiracial cast whose characters were the stars. Okay, so you remember Sulu and Uhura, so it was an amazing thing, and even having an alien, in a commanding role, Dr. Spock. So all among us humans. So she was a first with things like that. And, there are many other shows that I loved, like Andy Griffith. And let's see, what's the other one here? The Dick Van Dyke Show. My Favorite Martian. I love these shows. I had no idea that DesiLu was the piece that was the front face of Lucy and Desi Arnaz. So it's quite amazing what their accomplishments were, because they had quite a few hits. And the thing is that they managed to get the money one way or the other. They were being very resourceful. It's pretty obvious that Lucille never took no for an answer, and she just kept going and being resourceful until she finally found the people who could support them and get the money in place to do all these things that they wanted. And like I said, she was an executive for a TV production studio. She was the first woman to do that. She definitely had enough balls for a woman to just go after whatever she wanted. And I want to encourage you that every single one of you can do the same thing. And thank you so much for your hearts. I love you too. So it's so important to understand that you can't stay still. She kept moving on. Even though she finally divorced Desi, she remarried about a year later to a guy named Gary Morton, and she continued to make more and more shows that starred her and her best friends. And the thing is that we have to realize that the more things change, we have to go along with it. That it's kind of interesting, because even though she divorced Desi Arnaz, they were friends up until the day he died. So he died a bit earlier than she did, and they were supportive of each other until then, but she couldn't stay married to him, but they were still good friends afterwards. So it's quite amazing that these people were so adaptable to all the changes that happened to them. Very adaptable. And that's what it takes, is being adaptable, accepting that change is going to happen, and that we're right up front saying, okay, that's good, what's next? How do I deal with this? Instead of, oh my God, I can't deal with this. This is terrible, and blaming and complaining and the whole bit. Okay, so somebody like Lucille Ball is a very good example of how we should live. And so keep listening coming back every week and listening to a new person that I'm going to be talking about. Some of them will be very famous. Some of them won't be as famous. But the thing is that everybody has a story. I mean, even you have a story, I'm sure. You have triumphed over obstacles. You have, thank you for your hearts. You have done well. You've gone against the odds. You've gone against probably what someone else's opinion was. I mean, you know, her teachers at school were experts, right? But they weren't experts about her. Think about that. So everybody is entitled to their opinion. It doesn't mean that we have to listen to them, right? Don't listen to someone else's opinion. When they're telling you no, outright no, when they're telling you that you're not suited for this or that, ignore them. But, you know, do talk to the people who really do have some experience in the areas that you're looking at and follow their lead. Okay? Now, they probably won't be telling you things like, no, you can't do that. What they might be telling you is, okay, have you considered this? You know, and have some useful suggestions, you know. But of course, take everything with a grain of salt because everybody is telling you their opinion based on what they think, okay? It's not what you think. So come back next week, and if you know anybody who has a concussion or is suffering from post-concussion syndrome right now, please send them over to Amazon and pick up my best-selling book, Heal Your Concussion, How to Quickly and Effectively Get Back in the Game. Thank you again for your hearts. I love you too. See you next week. Bye.